Let the past die. Kill it if you have to. It's the only way to become who we were meant to be, says Kylo Ren to Rey. Good advice actually. Even so, Star Wars, Episode 8, The Last Jedi had lacked some essentials. I give it a C+, I had said to a boyfriend-girlfriend couple. That seems to be the general consensus, they both said in agreement. Really, I replied, well, coincidentally all three of us had seen the film on December 16, the day after its general release. Turns out, it's not a general consensus after later finding out fan responses are split on the film. While most critics loved it, be that as it may, there is an unmistakable uproar over The Last Jedi. While some fans are given to nitpick with endless lists as to why it's the worst film in the Star Wars franchise, I'll give just 3 general essentials I believe the film lacks. Using the words of King Schultz from Django Unchained, who had said, I realize passions are high, let's all be cool for now and go over the 3. If any still haven't seen the film, please depart for major spoilers are ahead. Let's begin with the first, to have a good villain. In this film, Kylo Ren is still a weak villain. In a recent December 18, 2017 article, led, Star Wars, The Last Jedi is divisive, but Kylo Ren shouldn't be an all-time great villain, by Julia Alexander of Polygon, she explains why, while to be fair she does initially say that her opinion may differ from others. What constitutes a good villain? Villains are not monsters, she says, later explaining that Kylo Ren is not a blood-hungry character. Then later, she adds, at the heart of Kylo Ren's personality, and what makes him a true villain, is selfishness. He can see what needs to be done for the greater good, and he turns his back on it to ensure he gets what he wants. Furthermore, Ms. Alexander states another key point, as perhaps her most important overall, as she says, what I love most about Kylo Ren's character, however, is his obvious sadness and vulnerability. After reading such comments it was hard to find any fault. All of her key points may be true, yet all that still doesn't negate that Kylo Ren is still a weak villain. One may ask, well alright then, Thera, what do you consider a good villain? Fair question, so here goes. A good strong villain, at the character's core, makes you care about the hero, while at the same time, makes both the villain and the hero interesting. It's rather a dynamic symbiotic relationship of sorts, involving mutual growth however long the story or a saga lasts. How does this happen? Answer, a good villain puts the hero, or the, through the paces, to embolden the hero to greater resourcefulness, to be ever more creative and ingenious. Again, growth on both sides. All the while, there's that sense of imperilment upon the hero while the villain puts the hero through the paces, and doesn't let up of course until the. This is why the Batman film The Dark Knight is still considered not only the best comic book film, but also one of the best films ever made. Which also earned actor Heath Ledger a posthumous Best Supporting Actor Oscar as the Joker. There simply wasn't any of that dynamic in both The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi. All which leads to that second essential, to have a believable hero, or in this case, Rey is not a believably. In a December 20, 2016 article, led, Rogue One, the second failure at a believable female lead, by Katie Freites of the Daily Caller, Ms. Freites explains why both Rey and Jyn Erso have come pre-packaged, and thus aren't portrayed as believable. I actually partly disagree, having already gone on record saying though both are likable, Jyn Erso is more believable than Rey. Stated in the second paragraph from last in my previous December 21, 2016 HuffPost blog, led, Rogue One, a Star Wars story, epic and spectacular. The reason which led me to the conclusion that Jyn Erso is a believably is simple. When Saw Gerrera, a rebel insurgent, takes Jyn, then a young girl about 5, under his care, shortly after the death of her mother and the abduction of her both by the Empire, there's every reason to believe that he had to have taught her how to fight as she grew up. Though overall, Ms. Freites does make a good point, stating, there will be no new impressive female leads for a very long time, so long as we're too scared to portray women as humans with imperfections. Rey still has time, and hope we will see a genuine effort to evolve her past the perfect, shrink-wrapped product The Force Awakens presents her to be. Of course that was then, now has arrived. Even so, yeah, I'll still hear some say, well, Rey was just naturally born strong with the Force. So was Luke. See, people seem to conveniently forget that climatic moment when even Darth Vader said, the Force is strong with this one. This, after he tried to up Luke's X-Wing fighter while in the Death Star trench in Episode 4, A New Hope, and would have succeeded had not Han and Chewie came to the rescue. Furthermore, just before Luke's first lightsaber battle with Vader in Episode 5, The Empire Strikes Back, Vader repeats, the Force is with you, young Skywalker. But you are not a Jedi yet. That was a powerful statement, and meant to be so. It took Luke the third film, Episode 6, to perform the Jedi mind trick, after Yoda made him go through arduous in the film before, while Rey does it on the second try in The Force Awakens. Keeping in mind, Yoda sweated the out of Luke in Episode 5, after having said, "A Jedi must have the deepest commitment, the most serious mind," who gave us a lasting impression that to become a Jedi must be way harder than becoming a Navy SEAL, whose training motto is, "Your easiest day was yesterday." While in the current film The Last Jedi, we see Rey with power in the Force by quantum leap. Yes, she did get knocked around some by Snoke. Yet she still received little training, if at all, by Luke while on the remote island of AHCH-2. Followed by near the end, the miraculous power performed by Rey by clearing out all the heavy boulders to allow the rebels to escape. The third and last essential is, to respect an enduring Jedi legacy. One of my favorite scenes in the Oscar-winning film Gladiator has General Maximus saying, "5,000 of my men are out there in the freezing mud. 3,000 of them are bloodied and cleaved. 2,000 will never leave this place. I will not believe that they fought and died for nothing." In The Last Jedi, they disrespected the Jedi legacy. Still, you hear some fans say, well, it's no longer about any one chosen family or about any chosen one, meaning about the Skywalkers. That's not the point. There still remains that throughout the 800 years Yoda has trained Jedis, that many have fought and died and their sacrifice shouldn't have been for nothing. All this of course involves the scene when Yoda appears in astral form to Luke while on the island of AHCH-2, shortly after some Jedi ancient texts were burned up. Sure, there've been bad apples like Count Dooku and Kylo Ren, Ben Solo. Even so, the aftermath of their conversation came to the conclusion that such a storied legacy should die. The Jedi legacy should be a worthy one, maintaining the honor of its creation given to creator of the saga George Lucas. All things considered, I give The Last Jedi a C+, equivalent to 2.5 stars out of 5. Download.